Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they're kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm your host, James Boyd, and with me, I have Richard Latta. What's going on, sir?
I have one of the strongest minds that I've ever known.
Oh my god! when you read or heard that line, bruh, when you read or heard that line, did your mind go right where mine went? Where I was like, this sounds like the shit that like Sid was trying to say before he said, "I have half the brains that you do."
Yo, when I heard that shit, I was like, yo. This shit's getting memed to oblivion. Like, I'm about to use this line on One Nation Radio. That's how I'm opening the show.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, I'm chilling. Just dropped a song yesterday. First song put out in a long time. And we had a busy weekend here. So if you guys haven't heard it, type in Save Me, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you listen to your music. Rich Latta, check it out. But, yeah, man. The shit we got to talk about today. I think we're going to be, the end of the year 2020 show. You might be boy, some shit from this here today because
man.
boy.
So, because this was when we first talked about doing this show, planning out for weeks in a way that we never did before. Because like I was trying to do all this year-end stuff. This show was going to be the Takeover show, or the Takeover Blackpool show. So we're going to start with that, and then we'll get to the Tessa stuff and all the other shenanigans going around the wrestling world as usual. So let's just get to it. NXT Takeover, NXT UK Takeover Blackpool 2. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of words. What were your thoughts on the show in general?
I thought it was decent. Thought it was like, a little bit more than like fine, just on the borderline. I probably say like a 6.5 out of 10, maybe a 7. And I thought there was one great match on the show. That Bate and Devlin was fucking awesome. You talk about what a mid-card match is supposed to be, the reasons why they were fighting, and the execution of the match. They got to wrestle like way above what a mid-card match would be and really just do like a main event match, and I felt like nothing on the show touched it or came close. And I was watching a lot of the show and I was like, I don't know, it's a little dry. Main event, I literally fell asleep on in the middle of the day. So I woke up and all of a sudden Adam Cole was in the ring after that visual pinfall. I had lost the will to continue after just watching the baffling way. Like when Joe Coffey was laying Walter down with strikes a minute into the match, I was like, oh no, this is not what I was sold. Yeah, way too much Gallus here. It's funny, like it comes out to silence like Joe Coffey, and it's just like, yo, why is Joe Coffey main evented as many NXT TakeOver UKs as Walter?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, let's start in the main event. So, because you're already there, I don't understand like the fascination with every main event and TakeOver having to go over 20 minutes. Like most of the matches are fine because you have two kick-ass workers in the ring. In this case, you only had one. And the problem with Coffey is, it is funny when I found this out, that Killian Dane trained the Coffey brothers, because it's like, they're roughly the same. Like, they're big, tough men looking dudes that, like, try really hard every single time, but they're only but so good. And, like, when they're in there with somebody better than them, like, they probably have a match better than they normally have, but like the person that's a lot better than them they're in the ring with, they come down to their level. Like, so you kind of get disappointed. It's like, well, damn, bro, like it's Matt Riddle, it's Pete Dunne, it's Walter. They can't like get out of this Dane and Coffee muck. No, okay, well then like let's not do this ever again.
Yeah, a lot of people
move these people down the card because they're not the cream of the crop.
A lot of people that I tend to interact with are very disappointed with Walter's portrayal in WWE, and it goes back to the Survivor Series when you beat him in 3 minutes, and all of a sudden he's a monster again, but he's losing visual pinfalls to Joe Coffey, and he did chop the shit out of him during this match, like the part I did see, but it just wasn't enough. And then, I hear that Joe Coffey lost to a rest hold, which is fucking hilarious.
It wasn't a rest hold. You gotta stop this shit. Like, if that's a rest hold, then if that move is a rest hold, then like every move is a rest hold. Then every submission is a rest hold, in theory.
Yeah, I don't know. We came on this show last week and we said the magic number was 21.
No, you said that.
Or yeah, you agreed, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So they went past 21, and we got what we got.
But here's the problem, right? I think that the ref bump happened before we even got to 21 minutes.
Right. Because then they had to bring in all these other motherfuckers like Dragunov and Alexander Wolf and all these other people I don't care to see in the ring during the main event. Like, I'm sorry, like...
Like, the thing for me is, like, after Jay White and Gato's bullshit at Wrestle Kingdom, right, last weekend, and then the AEW Women's Title match on Wednesday, which pissed me off, too, because more people that have nothing to fucking do with the match in the ring without the ref saying, get the fuck out of here, kick rocks, none of that, and then they interfere with matches, and then the main event of a takeover, ref bump, motherfuckers run down, shenanigans ensue. I've had a fucking enough of it for the last, like, I had to watch 10 hours or 11 hours of wrestling, or I didn't have to. I watched 11 hours of wrestling damn near last weekend. I watched the Dynamite. It had the title match had bullshit in it, and then I have to watch the UK's championship match have bullshit in it. Hey man, what the fuck? Just wrestle. And the thing about it is, like, look, I can understand some interference if it quote unquote helps build your match and makes it jump a peak, right? The G1 final this last year, Gargano and Cole won in WrestleMania weekend last year. Those elevated the match. This match either stayed the same for the next until the finish, or probably got worse after that. So it was a mistake. Don't waste our fucking time.
Yeah.
No. More specifically, don't waste my fucking time. I'm sick of this shit. Stop fucking around in your matches. Matter.
And the thing with the matches going that long, this is a Triple H and Shawn Michaels helm promotion. two guys that have never had reservations about going long, even sometimes when they have no business going long. So, and I imagine this promotion is being molded in their image, and the UK is Shawn Michaels' baby. Like, this is what it's going to be. Like, this is what it is. So, like, get used to it.
Look, I think either A, you have to shorten the match because you know it's coffee in there, or B, put somebody in there that is, quite frankly, a lot better than coffee. And there are a lot of people, I believe, and feel in NXT UK that are a lot better. If you had put Mark Andrews in there, you could have done that, and it would have worked because Andrews is a lot better than coffee. Like, people say this. People say that like Flash Morgan Webster, like he does cool stuff, but he botches the cool stuff he does at a pretty high frequency. I'm willing to risk it.
Throw him out there.
If coffee is what you got, I'd rather see Walter go out there and throw around and chop the shit out of small dudes and then sell for them temporarily, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I don't. I saw a tweet from Voice of Wrestling that said, like, yo, if you told me the NXT UK, like, the main event picture largely the first year after TakeOver is going to be the fucking Joe Coffey story, like, I don't know what to say. Like, it's like, you know, you got all those guys, and it's like, yo, what are we doing here? So, I guess we can go to the next match.
Yeah. Okay. Fatal 4-Way NXT. Yeah. Fatal 4-Way tag ladder match for the tag titles in NXT UK. It is the champions, Wolfgang and the other coffee, right? Versus Andrews and Webster versus Grizzled Young Veterans versus Imperium, Eichner, and Bartel. What were your thoughts on this match?
They wrestled hard, but I just didn't really get into it, except from when they did that two-man dive, like, onto the tables or whatever. But the rest of it, I was just like, oh, it's a WWE ladder match. And I was like, oh, okay. But it didn't grab me or anything.
I thought that they were having a great match. I thought they were headed towards 4.5 stars until they took forever to build up to a 5-ladder,
like a castle.
Yeah, it's like, look, man, the worst thing you could do. I don't know. All these people have wrestled a bunch. All these people are wrestling. If they're not geniuses, they're damn sure all have their degrees in wrestling from wrestling over the years in the UK and around the world. Before they even got to NXT UK.
Yeah.
But I don't know anybody that's watched, I don't know, let's say 10 ladder matches that doesn't realize that if your setup takes forever to do in a ladder match, don't do it because it's doing nothing but drag your match down. And they just kept building and building and building. And I don't mean in the Okada way. They just kept building shit and stacking shit next to each other and then not knowing which should this ladder go on this side of the bigger ladder or the other side? Well, no, because there's no space on this. Okay, moving around. And then it's like, hey, man, y'all didn't realize how this was going to go. Y'all didn't realize that this was going to go bad, putting 5 ladders in the ring together that y'all all were going to try to climb up and do, shit off of. I mean, whatever. Like, I'm sure in their minds they thought it was going to be something great, but in the execution it didn't pan out. And that's what we talk about when you try to watch some of these matches and why things work or they don't work is what's the layout versus what's the execution. Because, and this was one where execution, or probably the game plan was like,
I don't know if it wasn't.
Nah.
I don't know if it was a case of where they didn't have the guys to do the match that they wanted to do, or if like they're just a slave to that format. Like it felt like,
Well, I mean, I think I heard. I can't remember who I'm talking about this. I think I've heard a few people talk about this, but yeah, I mean, yes, there's a standard version of WWE ladder matches, whatever else. But I don't know. Like, this didn't feel like, I enjoyed the match till all of a sudden I didn't enjoy it anymore. And for me, it was that ladder match, like, yo, this halted their momentum. And then they never seemed to be able to get it back. And then they had the one they were doing both members of Gallus were supposed to be taken out on table bridges from the apron to the barricade, and there was the big ladder. Andrews and Webster were going to climb up both, and they were going to hit 450s on it or whatever else. And then the pre-cut table just pre-cut on them. And then they said, screw that. We're just going to... They actually did a better spot than that. They actually, did the double 450 or whatever the hell that was onto one of the dudes. I think it was Wolfgang. And I thought, okay, well, shit didn't go according to plan, but they came up with a hotter spot. So... but yeah, I mean, I would never call this match bad. I would never call this match anything. I gave it 4 flat. So maybe, I don't know how most people think about it, but I thought they were heading in a really great space, but a really great place, but it just didn't work out at the end.
Yeah, I don't know. It just, maybe I was not into it I haven't really been following these guys, but the video package before the match, kind of tied everything together in well, and, I don't know. It's just one thing that's weird is when you look at what the main event was, it was Walter versus Joe Coffey, and then you hear both of those musics the match before. I feel like it inevitably lowers the excitement. It's I just heard this music, these entrances from the underlings. I know Undisputed Era doesn't really have that problem because Cole is more over this.
Because Cole has the Bebe stuff, yeah.
So
and Boom.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just maybe I'm just looking at something weird, but I don't know that. When I first started hearing that Walter music and then those dudes walk out, I'm just oh.
Wow. Yeah. Another thing I didn't like about the match, because I thought okay, well these dudes are killing each other. Imperium's killing each other, Andrews and Webster's killing each other, Grizzly Young Vets killing each other, especially Drake. Jesus. And then Gallus just retains the titles. It's okay, so this is what it would have been like if The Rock had just held the title at SummerSlam '98. You got this other fucking guy out here killing himself in the middle of a fucking ladder match, taking all the bumps, going crazy, trying to become somebody the company can value in the future, and then nah. We just gonna keep it on the guy that's taking the nice, easy approach. What the fuck? All right, whatever. I don't know, man. And it was weird because we talk to Ricky Clive every single day, and Ricky loves him some Gallus, and I'm just what? It's funny. He enjoys when I make fun of Caleb for his love for mediocre motherfuckers. and I would not say that Gallus is mediocre, but they just good, and being just good in this area is almost like being mediocre.
Yeah, that I don't know. When I hear that Gallus music, a part of my soul dies.
All right, you got anything else, or it's time to talk about the real?
Let's talk about the real.
Woo, man! Tyler Bate versus Jordan Devlin. This match was fucking awesome. What are your thoughts? Because there's so many things in my mind. They just did so much wrestling, it's hard to wrap my head around it, but there are a few things I remember, so you go ahead.
I thought this was phenomenal, from the wrestling, for the video package, why they were fighting, to knowing those guys, how it seemed like the crowd just had so much disdain for Devlin, and they were living and dying with Tyler Bate. They were doing a lot of early, matching each other with the chain wrestling, the striking, the big moves, and it seemed like they were just they just kept building match and logical, I'm going to need to do more to beat you here. I'm going to need to do more, and then it comes out in that slugfest, and this was it was a technical wrestling masterpiece, as well as what it feels like this era of wrestling should be like. This is just a modern classic, I feel like. And I'm, talking up a lot here, but I like this match more than the Wrestle Kingdom main event. I liked it, or the second day, the Okada and Naito. I thought this is going to be one of the best matches of the year. This was just I said this in the group chat. I was I don't think you do a mid-card match better than this. Because the only thing that I would have done to make it a more standard mid-card match was I would have probably chopped 5 or 7 minutes off of it to keep it to that match time. But once I think they won about 22 minutes. I don't think you can do it better than that right now. And it's like Devlin's the Irish ace, who's an ace, and Tyler Bate is just like bigger. He's more gruff, and it's like you hope he gets a chance because him having great matches ain't nothing new. It's just like he's fucking stuck on this brand.
Well,
rotting, and he's 22 years old now, and it's always like, oh, he's the future. He's the future. And then, like, that was 3 years ago, motherfucker, like, where he was the future. And now we're here, and it's like, okay, well, how is this going to help him? Like, hopefully, he can, increase his profile, but chances are he's probably not because NXT is a scam. So, I'll hand it over.
Okay.
But the match is fucking phenomenal.
Okay, so I'm just going to address the dour nerd that's turned into like nothing even matters in WWE. Why are we even watching this shit? So the thing with Tyler Bate is Tyler Bate's already done some domestic NXT recently in like the last few months. So like I almost expect for him to come in eventually. Now especially obviously not besides just for Worlds Collide. I mean, for like the future, like there's nothing else from the accomplish. He was the first fucking UK champ. He had the match of a lifetime against Walter and lost. There's really nowhere else to go other than like if you build to an eventual rematch with Walter again. But the whole idea is if you want to do that, cool. But like those are tapings. Bring his ass to Full Sail, please. So anyway, yeah, to the match. I was watching this match and I was like, oh, this is so good. This is so good. I'm enjoying the hell out of this. And then they out of nowhere decided just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna just fucking jab each other in the fucking jaw for a little bit, and then they did the whole part where it was like turning to just a slugfest of soft punches because they don't, they were out here just riding each other 10 times a piece, and then the people that hate whatever the political motherfuckers would like put up the tweet of ha ha ha, look how bad the wrestling is. It's like, yeah, okay, like what's your favorite match? I bet I can find something worse. Anyway, from any match. So then that happened, and then from there, Bate is so incredible. Like, and the thing about his matches, I don't feel like his matches are like super structured in the way that like a Johnny takeover match would be, but because he always figures out like obviously he's gonna do the airplane spin or whatever else, but like the fact that he's like, all right, I'm just gonna spin him for like 50 damn times, and the crowd is with him throughout the whole entire match, and I just think the match is great. Like the fact that he hit the Tyler driver, he kicks, I already got the move. He does a springboard turn in transition, jump off, tornado DDT, then gets up, Tyler drives him, he kicks, he immediately drags him to the corner, and then hits a corkscrew senton. It's like, what the fuck? Yo, This dude's incredible. I mean, I already knew that, but it's like, I already thought you were one of the best wrestlers in the world. Like, you're even better than that now? Yeah, like, dude's is awesome, and like, he's in WWE, and he's 5'6", and he's not a good promo. Like, unless that changes, the rest.
This is it.
Like, until he gets out of his deal, like, NXT, he has a great career, whatever else, NXT. Hopefully they start paying these NXT dudes their money, especially when their contracts start coming up, and they're going to have to. But outside of that, like, you want Vince McMahon to see him? I don't want Vince McMahon to ever see Tyler Bate. Like, I understand you say, where's the path to Stardom? It's like, we've seen a path for Stardom. It's not a path. It's a brick fucking wall. I used to be at a point when people used to talk about, like, I don't want to ever see someone get called up or whatever else. And I used to be like, man, you got to give him a chance, whatever else. We look at the track record. No. I'm so happy for AEW starting up Dynamite so that NXT moved to 2 hours on live TV. Now there's less of a need for them to just bleed out NXT and try to start over. That now people can actually have some careers and be good for a long time, as opposed to they're good for 18 months, they come up and then they're Bobby Roode.
Nakamura. Shall we continue?
Yeah, like there's a million people. There's a million people, right? So I'm just, I look, if they would rather be on the main roster, working a million dates, getting paid more money, but working more dates, having less spectacular matches, being a part of Vince's batshit stuff, let them go. I'll be happy for them, whatever else. But I do not enjoy watching the main roster. You damn sure ain't gonna see that kind of match on the main roster. We ain't seen a match like that since what?
John Cena and AJ Styles?
Yeah. That was Royal Rumble 2018? 17
maybe?
Yeah. So
been a while.
Yeah. Been a long time. And I remember saying, like, that's one of the best matches in a long time. And Rich was like, I remember you were kind of like, yeah, but I don't think it's gonna last. Bitch, it lasted. And not in a good way.
Like, yo, that was like the end. Like Royal Rumble 2017, company falls off. Yeah. Guess we can go to the women's match. I thought it was awesome. Oh, yeah. Company falls off a cliff after. After Royal Rumble 2017. Regardless, 5 stars.
Yeah, 5 stars for me too. Yeah, like, it's the third best match I've seen this year. Earlier though. Up next, the NXT Women's Title match, triple threat match between champion Kaylee Ray, Viper, Piper Niven, and Toni Storm. What do you think of this match, Rich?
Oh, it was alright. The video package had me dying laughing when Kaylee Ray was on there like, no more Toni Storm, which was just fucking amazing when she said that. They did every like triple threat kind of thing. They had a lot of like I would say unique spots, but like Toni Storm's like killing me like with her dramatic, like whenever her like pins get broken up or something like that. It's just the overacting is on another level. It's like, I might have preferred a singles match here because, like, and even it's like almost any combo of the two, I would have rather a single than a triple threat.
Really? I thought this match was a lot better than the Toni Storm and Kaylee Ray match from Cardiff in August last year. I mean, this was, yes, it was very much a WWE stand triple threat match, as in one of the baby faces in the match has the match won, the heel comes in and steals the fucker's pin, and because they're a jackass and heels are just smarter than everybody else. So that's the standard triple threat match in WWE. It's like, yes, the bastard always wins by stealing it. Like, it can't just be the babyface fucking wins.
Put
or
somebody down with your finish.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so
I thought it was cool. It was like, all right.
Yeah, I gave it 3.5. Like, I thought that they did a million dives in this match. And I don't necessarily know why. Kaylee Ray almost blew out her knee.
She almost fucked up.
Yeah, she did a flip dive. She did a front flip dive off the top ropes into the barricade, and it seemed like NXT UK's barricades are like closer or more narrow. Like, the pathway is more narrow between the barricade and the ring. So, like, she jumped off, and then, like, she's coming down, like, her leg clips the barricade. I'm like, oh, she may have just blown her knee out. Luckily, that didn't happen, but, like, aside from that, is like, a few other gross things I saw is, like, she, and Kaylee Ray is, like, clearly about that life. Like, she's psycho. There was also a spot where Piper goes to give her a power bomb, and Kaylee Ray's hair was caught underneath Piper's boot, and you could see her hair get caught as she's lifting her up, and then at the very end it let go, and I was like, oh, that had to hurt so bad. Oh, but yeah, like I thought it was a good match. I didn't think it was something special or something epic, but like that kick out spot on Toni Storm, like the crowd popped huge for that, and I thought it was like that's a great near fall. So yeah, that's where I'm at on it.
Yeah. Kaylee Ray keeps the belt, but I don't know if she's a star, but she's a good wrestler. So
yeah, yeah, that's kind of what it is right now. I think the main thing is going to come down to the end game is Piper's going to win the thing, which cool. I mean, she's good enough. Yeah. So the opening match, Trent Seven versus Eddie Dennis, and you're going to have to talk about it because I missed this match. And I came into it late, and I said I am not going to I am not going to be 20 minutes behind on this thing, or what, or 15 or whatever the fuck it was, to try to catch up on an Eddie Dennis match. I'm good.
Well, it only went 8 minutes, and they came flying out the gate, like just like big moves, like, and they were like quick, like immediately. But I was watching Eddie Dennis, and he changed his gear again, and it's like
what does it look like now?
It's like he has a all singlet now or whatever. I think
he has a singlet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like he doesn't have enough muscles, it seems like, to do it like up top. So like there's something about him that doesn't make sense when I watch him, because it's like he's a big man,
and he's
but
tall,
not really,
and he's strong as hell, but he has no muscles. I get you.
Right. It's like it's just something I don't get it or whatever. Like, and Trent Seven like had a crowd in the palm of his hand. He's such a great old man wrestler. I don't really know how old he is or whatever, but he wrestles like he's old. But yeah, this was if you're gonna make Eddie Dennis like look strong, like Seven did an awesome job being an enhancement talent here. Solid opener, like nothing like just to steal a phrase, it helps make the show and not steal the show.
So Trent Seven is 38.
Oh, okay. Never mind. He is an old man.
Oh, man. We call the wrestlers old at 38, huh? That's where the game's going.
You 38 and you still rapping? Oh, remember that?
Well,
no. Trent Seven wrestles like an old man.
I got what you meant. I'm just saying, damn, bro.
Like, AJ Styles doesn't wrestle like a 42-year-old or whatever. He still does.
Sure about that?
Look, he does rather athletic things, but he's on the decline. But he's like Trent Seven. Like, I don't think he necessarily needs to even jump over a quarter at this point.
Oh,
like,
man.
he's like, I'm keeping it ground based. I'm selling. I'm firing up, punching. Stuff like that. So
okay.
Awesome tag wrestler.
Yes. An incredible person to set up for a hot tag. Like, maybe the best I've ever seen. Like, I mean, I never saw which one of the rock and rolls was
Ricky.
the one that got it. Rick. I don't think I've ever seen a Rock and Roll Express tag match. Like, look, don't send me recommendations. Don't, Dan, Josh, none of y'all hearing this, do not send me a link to that, because that shit, I won't hurt your feelings, and that shit will be left unwatched. I'm not watching no 80s wrestling. I'm good. Like, the only 80s wrestling I'm going to remember is the stuff I've already seen. I'm not going back. Like, leave that past in the past. So,
it's over.
Yes. Anyway, yeah, so I guess now you got to talk about Tessa Blanchard, eh?
Woo! Tessa Blanchard. Come on down. Hold on. Tessa Blanchard. Bring your punk ass to the stage.
Oh, man.
Yo.
Let me go through the tweets.
So disappointing. Just like, oh, man. You always heard the stories. Or some type of vague, like, thing.
You always heard stuff about her having a bad attitude. We didn't know that bad attitude was bullying and racism.
Yeah, who knew? Apparently, people that had this shit, like, on the tuck that weren't revealing this. But, you know, that all came to a head when Tessa Blanchard sent a rather, you know, benign tweet.
I have it.
Put out. Okay.
Hey, women, try supporting one another. Cool things happen.
And the fucking floodgates opened.
It sure did. Allison Kay, the AEW Women's Champion, if I remember correctly.
The who?
I said AEW. Oh shit!
NWA.
The NWA Women's Champion. You know, it's all the same thing. You know, they all about to work together because of Marty. Because of Marty. You know, Marty gonna make it all together. He's gonna make it all make sense. He is gonna be the key linchpin that makes AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, and NWA all come together. Look, CMLL, AAA, y'all gonna have to just squash all that beef. It's either get with it or get rolled over. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. So I did all that to try to feel, and while I was feeling, I did not pull up Allison Kay's Twitter. And I am not spelling Allison Kay well right now. Cover for me, Rich.
Yeah. So it just this thing went from one piling on from.
All right, I found it. Fuck off.
Okay.
So, all right. So, did she delete this tweet?
No, I got it. I got the screenshots for sure.
Well, she did not delete this tweet. She deleted the tweet.
Hold on, Allison K. What you doing? You acting like we ain't got screenshots of this stuff. Come on, Allison. Come on, Allison.
Nope. Hold on. All right. So she says, remember the time when you spat in a black woman's face and called her the N-word in Japan? Was that you supporting women? The audacity of this tweet.
Oh my God. Yeah. So bad. Spitting in someone's face. That's like a motherfucker must kill you if you do something like that, right? Like that. You're eligible to have someone try to like choke you and not let go. And then you called her like, you know, you called this woman the N-word. Like, do you think she hit her with the hard R? Like that you are a, you know? do you think stop acting like a like? Oh, man. Like what do we have here, James? Like, man.
I mean, what I will say is when you said choke you and not let go, I thought about like the end of Titanic when they had fucking DiCaprio sitting in that water on that big ass piece of water with her and Winston could have both been on. I'll never let go, Jack. I'll never let go. Yeah, I'll never let go. Wringing your fucking neck. So there's that. Then. But this story turned into a bunch of different things, so I'm just gonna go like at this point I'm just gonna go topic by topic. So we're focusing right now on the hard R and the spit. So she addresses that tweet, Tessa, by not adding or comment retweeting. I almost called her Sienna, Allison Kay, but by saying not true, not gonna give any of these ridiculous whatever, or ridiculous claims, my time of day, that sort of thing, on a tweet. Then from there, throughout the rest of the day, you had, let me pull up the list, because I had to make an elaborate one for the show. So, you had...
Well, before you do that, at the same time that this came out, minutes later, Chelsea Green got
I was saying we're going to
you're gonna go
topic by topic. We'll get to the bullying part later in the section. So, then from there, word comes out. Some people like some of the Joshi reporters and writers, some of whom we know, nudge nudge wink wink, publicly came out and said like, we knew about this story in 2017. So, when I heard I heard the name, it was La Rosa Negra. So, what I immediately do is go to the cage match, look at the days that Tessa was in there. Right? Look at La Rosa Negra when she was in there, because La Rosa Negra is a former high-speed champion. See, both their tours had overlap in April of 2017. Bingo, there's your time. So, then from there, you have Moose.
Oh my God.
Of all people, bringing his country ass down to the stage. And he goes on to say, if it's still, he says to Allison Kay and Chelsea Green, I guess you and Chelsea Green are absolute angels with a clean pass. The timing of these tweets from you guys show a lot about your character.
One, who the fuck is Moose to be talking about character? Two, why is he shucking and jiving his ass out there on Twitter to come defend this white woman? Three, Moose, are you still beating women?
Fair question to ask, right? What's the allegation against him? That he pushed women downstairs, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, look,
I'm not trying to hear it from you. Like there are people that can make points, and they're not necessarily someone you may want to hear this thing from, and their point can be valid. I'm sorry, I don't want to hear it from you, Moose.
Right. And like, it's funny that like all these women came together to support each other in dragging Tessa. So that's all. Those are women supporting women. Like, but it's kind of funny that like someone like Moose, who clearly ain't out here supporting women, and Tessa, who is coming to cape for someone like Tessa, who also ain't supporting women.
It's like they almost on the same side of the coin,
right? Like
in a weird way,
right? Yeah. Okay. So that's good. Let's move on. There's more. There's even more. So
two people stuck in Impact for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Shannon from AEW mentioned that, like, yes, seen and heard worse in Japan from Tessa. I was like, yep, wow. Like, that's a person that was that did like 2 dates in Impact from all I know. Then you have Ariel Monroe, which is funny because Tessa said, not true whatsoever. Ariel Monroe says, this has been something that's been like a big deal amongst me and my friends that are wrestlers. I've been talking to La Rosa. I've talked to Tessa about trying to get them to bury the hatchet about what happened. Sounds like something she's saying. Something actually I've talked happened. To both of them. Yeah, right. Exactly.
And if you think about it, like there's a close connection with Big Swole and Tessa, because who trained Tessa Blanchard or trained with her earlier? Big Swole's husband, Cedric Alexander.
Oh, yeah, in the North Carolina connection.
Bingo.
Didn't know that, but it makes sense now. Okay. Oh, man, what a mess. Yeah, so then you have Renee Michelle. Another person, actually, she's kind of like the tie-over. But, yeah. So, we have Renee Michelle come out. This is somebody that was also named as somebody that was bullied by Tessa in the past. And she said that La Rosa is a friend of mine. After that happened with her in Stardom, she quickly left, and then I soon worked to help her get dates in Marvelous. And you see, go to the cage match. She stops working in Stardom. A former high-speed champion stops working in Stardom. During tours, I think the 23rd of April, leaves, does a couple dates in Shimmer, or not Shine, and then in July, her next dates from there on are like, she does Marvelous and Seedling shows.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's important to contextualize the bullying. So is this a good time to bring the Chelsea Green one into it?
Yep. Let's go ahead and do that. So, Chelsea Green. Oh, let me get away from this Moose Twitter. I might have to block that dude. Or mute him. I don't want to see his dumbass tweets. Yeah, so then from there, we end up getting Chelsea Green to that same tweet about supporting women. She said, Chelsea Green says to Tessa, you've consistently put down, bullied, and belittled countless female wrestlers including me. Is that support? ?
And Tessa is in a position to where she's very talented. Let's not get this fucked up. Like, she's very talented among American women. She's probably in the top 3, top 5. Some people say she's the best. And she is wrestling royalty. And she may, regardless whether she does or not, it seems like other people feel like they could be blackballed if they're on her wrong side, and she runs amok over people in locker rooms, abusing that, whether it's real or not.
Mm-hmm.
She's abusing it. Whatever she can do, she can stop somebody's bags, as they say. And if you think about, the women, in this country, if you have someone like Tessa Blanchard, who's probably on every single big show or whatever, that's not somebody that you want to make an enemy out of.
Right.
Like it's like, well, where am I going to wrestle? And that's a legit fear for, like, a lot of women. And it seems like a lot of women have just been sitting on this and waiting on it. And you never see Tessa Blanchard being supported by women. She strangely has become a maverick of intergender wrestling. Seems like it's not by choice now. It's almost to the point where none of the women want to work with her. And the bullying thing, like the racism thing, is really bad. We're not done with that by a long shot, as Stone Cold would say. But this thing with the bullying is like going over to Isla Dawn now. She, retweeted and said, as someone who's experienced your bullying firsthand, received regular verbal abuse, and was spat on, had rumors spread about me, dealt with multiple attempts by you to blacklist me from other companies, I pray that you follow your own advice. In reference to our first tweet, Isla Dawn is someone who got in a fist fight, I believe, with Tessa Blanchard.
Right.
Beat that ass, from what I'm gathering here. We have sources here. What's up, sources? And
oh, wow.
And all of a sudden, I believe it was Isla Dawn who was not able to return back to Stardom after that, right?
I am looking through it right now. That seems to be the case.
Or La Rosa Negra. Or La Rosa Negra definitely put the pause on her too.
Yeah, like the last time, cause it's funny because like Tessa's done 2 tours of Stardom. She did one in 2016 and she did one in 2017. And apparently in both of them, she got into fights with somebody and got her ass whooped. So yeah, like in 2016, she got into Isla Dawn and I believe the thought was that she said that Isla was stealing stuff, so she fought her and then Isla whooped that ass. She wasn't going by Isla at the time. She was going by Courtney Stewart. But, yeah, so then I guess she said, you know what? New year, new me. I'm going to go back to Stardom. And then this time she said, this time I'm going to call someone the N-word, spit in their face, and then get my ass whooped. She look. At least she
brave.
Come back.
Look. It's a apparently you got to be brave to be a racist.
Look, I guess one thing I'll say for Tessa is I'm glad she ain't come back in 2018 to see her third strike. That might have been she might have been put down for the count. But yeah, that's. I think there's a few other things we have. Let's see what else we have on the Twitters. Or not Twitter, but about other people that talked about her bullying. We have Priscilla Kelly.
Oh, Priscilla Kelly. Yeah, let's start with her.
Priscilla Kelly that apparently, she, last year she got some buzz for herself by doing the bloody tampon spot, the vomit spot, and Priscilla Kelly basically said like you basically tried to get into my bag with this, right? By bad mouthing me. I'm not pulling up tweets at this point. We're going pretty long with this Tessa Blanchard thing. And then, people, Kavita DeVee, who's only known this woman for one fucking day.
Right.
Quite possibly have only met her for one day. Also said that, like, I ain't with this such shit either. Which is like, it's
the Battle Royal thing.
We'll get to it. Hold on, we'll get to it. It's very telling that, oh my God. It's very telling that Tessa was, one of the people that we thought, I think we previewed the first Mian Classic, is someone that we look for WWE to sign after this thing. She was in the first match, in the first round with Kyrie. It was a great match. It was one of the better matches of that tournament. Didn't get signed. Got sent back in the first first go round, first day. Didn't get signed. People, you heard words about why'd you get signed, and you hear stuff about attitude or whatever else. Then Kavita Devi, who's only probably met her for one damn day in her whole life, is like, nope, I'm good.
Yeah,
it's like very telling.
Yeah, the Battle Royal was interesting, nugget that came out.
Yeah.
So the more is like Saturday's going. This is like 3 hours of time where it's just constantly refresh your phone because there's another wrestler that's hopped in with a story or with something that's able to be corroborated, and we got the Battle Royal.
Yes. So, okay. So we end up getting on from Faye Jackson. That tweeted something along the lines of, y'all talking about Tessa? Remember that? Y'all ever hear about that time that she got into a real fight in a battle royal twice, and then went backstage and called everybody trash, and then proceeded to get into another fight backstage. And I was like, wait, what? So, good old cage match.
Coming to the rescue.
Typed it in. Tessa Blanchard matches. Go to it, type in Faye Jackson, enter. There's only one match that they've ever had together. And it was
all I need is one match.
Right. It was from January 2018. It was for Women's Wrestling Revolution. And I'm looking, I'm like, do they have streaming? What's their situation? Where can I see this match? I must see this shoot fight. So I'm looking around, can't find it. It's not up. I look at the card that it's on. I'm looking at their matches. I see like 5 matches from this card that's on there. I'm like, oh, they hiding this bitch. Okay. I see what y'all doing. Maybe, a half hour, 45 minutes later.
It was up.
It all of a sudden magically got put up. I was just like, outstanding.
Know your audience. So we watching this shit, and it's just a soft pillow fight.
Yeah, no one wants to actually be out there.
Yeah,
it's just like any other, like when people talk about like when they get a bunch of indie wrestlers to do a battle royal, they don't want to actually be in it. They just don't want to do as little. They want to do as little as possible.
But there was a hard chop that Deonna Purrazzo gave Tessa Blanchard.
Yes,
and woke her up.
Tessa blows her stack. You can see it on her face. She turns right back and rears back and tries to chop Deonna as hard as she possibly can. And then they just start throwing hands,
clubbing,
and until like Karen Q. No, I'm sorry. That's the second exchange.
That's the second one.
The second more heated exchange. They eventually calm down, but this is like 2 minutes and 40 seconds in the match, or into the video of the match, which means like it probably happened like 90 seconds in the match. But they break it up. They continue wrestling and tone it down a whole lot, like. So then they get to like the 8-minute mark of the video, 8 minutes 30 seconds, and there's a spot where Tessa's just hanging out and just lounging on the bottom turnbuckle in the corner, and it's Karen Q, Tessa, and Deonna in the ring, and Deonna is still kind of like, it looks like she's selling, but I don't know if she's really like her nose is leaking from getting hit from these real blows. All of a sudden, she sees her laying down in the corner. She walked right up to her in a stern walk and just slaps the fire out of her. It's like, oh my God. And then next thing, they get up and it's Fried Takayama.
Yes.
We throwing blows.
Yeah, man. This was just like, oh my God. Like a literal shoot battle royal.
Yes.
Has anyone sent this to Brian Alvarez yet?
I'm sure he's had to have heard about it by now. So then it's so bad that like Karen Q realizes like, oh, y'all need to stop, relax.
Yeah,
relax.
This is not in gimmick. Like that, y'all going all book. Like
right, and you can hear the commentary go like, oh, this is what's going on here. They're clearly like, yo, this is not part of the scheduled programming here. So the match continues, and to let you know how low stakes this match was, and to find out like how like crazy this was for Tessa is in the middle of this match, Faye Jackson Rikishi's Tessa in the match, like ass on face, and then you hear that after the match, Faye Jackson said this, and also Tara Calloway that was also in the match. Both said that after that happened, the two fights in the middle of the match. After the match, Tessa goes backstage, calls all women trash, and then got into another fight backstage that somebody had to break up.
A malcontent. That's all I can say. And back to what jumped this whole thing off. Like, this is the standard definition of racism. Using your position, your position of power with, bigotry, behind it, and, terrorizing people.
Yeah. And it's like, there would be people that would be say, you know what? Because people have said this about her. She's quote unquote changed over the last 2 years. There's been some growth. But once you combine the hard R or the N word as a white person with spit, that is a lethal combination. Like that is.
That's like I ain't never about to look racist. I'm never about to look at Tessa Blanchard the same again. Like, and it's just like
if we get a video reenactment of that, it will be in black and white, just like one of the 60 civil rights videos. The only thing missing will be water hoses and dogs and picket signs. God damn, that's racist. That is Motown blues and racism. Jesus.
This is don't get off the bus in Mississippi racist. Like, this is like, yo, that lunch counter is not for you racist. Yes, like, this is
I know y'all boys ain't going to vote racist.
This is, why are you looking over at this white woman racist? This is all that. Like, this is bad. And her non-apology may have even been worse, which was the opening line, after she wins the title, immediately 24 hours later, proving there is no such thing as cancel culture, which was fucking hilarious. When people were saying, we need to, whatever. Like, people were trying to defend Tessa, of course, because there's someone that will defend anyone.
It was funny because somebody in the thing said, like, I guess they're concerns that people actually do get canceled, and my point was like, name me one. I don't think I said name me one, but like they use an example of Duke Lacrosse, and then I immediately responded because I followed Duke Lacrosse at the time, and I was like, those dudes that got falsely accused all got $20 million in settlements, all three apiece. What?
There's literally nothing dangerous about a bunch of people railing on someone, reporters confirming the story and everything like that,
right?
And then making an assumption from there. It combined with like, this person making a horrible apology with like also denying it ever happened. So obviously there's some type of cap going on.
Right.
It was a dark day for wrestling, and a dark day for Tessa Blanchard. She'll never be looked at as the same. She, from the fans, from a lot of fans, there are people that will dig in and like her more, even. There are companies that will look the other way. Every single one of them you can probably think of. I think WWE eventually would look the other way if it came down to like keeping her away from somebody. I think AEW would look the other way. I think Impact obviously is looking the other way on this, and it's like
people have made like have talked about the fact that like they already knew.
Yeah. So when she does this match the next day, and I would have been been the first one to come on here and celebrate her and be like, "Yo, this is a big thing," and now it's just like, all right, they it's just another racist motherfucker. Like, and we got drowned in racism in wrestling in 2019, it seemed like, right?
Yep.
And dealing with everything that had to do with race. And literally, we get like right into the new year, and here we are again on One Nation Radio, of course. And I said I was, getting tired of talking about this and having to, talk about the levels of how things are. But this is really bad. Like, this is like, this is happening on a smaller scale that is almost more, I don't want to say delicate, but it's like, this isn't getting the coverage, like, because of where it was happening. It was like,
right.
Within women's wrestling and stuff like that. If this was happening, like, in WWE, if this was happening, like, a major, like, platform, like, the origins of these stories, it would have been like, yo, there's a lot more people responsible here, but this is, like, a secret society thing almost. It's like, yo,
yeah.
These people trying to protect themselves, like, and it sucks because, like...
You know what's funny? You mentioned that it's a because it's Impact that it's almost like underground, and it probably is. But it's funny because like, ain't this the 2019 Sports Illustrated Wrestler of the Year?
Yeah, complete cap. And I've talked about this on the show before. You're never ever going and people listen when I say this. You are never going to look bad for praising women in public. However, when you come out here and you say that Tessa Blanchard is the Wrestler of the Year in Sports Illustrated, you are doing this for clout. You are doing this for clicks. It is not based in reality. It is based in some type of looking for approval, some type of yearn for clicks, some type of, I'm not even going to say that acronym, but this is like, it's flat out. I'll just leave it there.
It's flat out what?
It's flat out not true.
Yeah. It's, I mean, from a promo standpoint, she's not a good promo. From a wrestling standpoint, she's very good, maybe even great. She's not an elite wrestler in North America. From a drawing perspective, star type of thing, is she any kind of is she any kind of positive draw for TNA relative to in relation in like proper relation to like what a fill in the blank is anywhere else in North America? I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think she does for TNA like what Jericho does for AEW or what, I don't know,
asinine even like
Roman Reigns does for WWE. No, I don't think so. And I'm not saying this like that's.
I'm sorry, she's on.
That's like the least important thing for me. But it's like she like the things that I care about, the wrestling and the promos. She's not there like that either. So like, where did this year come from that was so magical in 2019 that I happened to miss? Even though like I outsource my fucking wrestling in Japan half the time.
Yeah, I think this is a publication looking for clicks, looking for clout, looking for a low-hanging, what they think is low-hanging fruit. Like, yeah, we can't go wrong, if we come out here and praise a woman like this, because if anybody, blows back on us, we can just point the finger. But no, we're going to squash that right the fuck now.
Did Becky win that last year?
No idea. I would have to look it up. Now,
if Becky didn't win it last year, but Tessa did.
Some reason I want to say it may have been Kenny, but I will look.
That's, wow. Okay. The year would have been last year with Becky, because Becky is actually a proven draw. It was having a great year compared to everybody else in the main roster, in the ring, on promos, all that. That's the year. So that's crazy to me that they gave it to Tessa. Go figure.
Okay, so in 2000 hold on, that's 2017. Hold on. Yeah, okay, they gave it to Kenny in 2017.
Okay.
So the Women's Wrestler of the Year in 2018 was Becky Lynch. I did not find a male counterpart for that one. So, and then Kenny Omega 2017. I don't know about you. I don't think Tessa Blanchard was Kenny Omega 2017 or Becky Lynch 2018. I could be wrong, but I'm probably not. So
I don't think so either.
Yeah. So, Tessa, whatever it is you do, I don't know. You don't have to listen to anything I say, right? You don't have to take heed.
Her talent speaks for itself.
To the advice.
It's the other shit.
Yeah, it's like, keep being a good wrestler, because if the second you're not, they're gonna get you the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah,
because you won't be worth the headache. You are now the Randy Orton of women. And it's just like, whatever you do, don't fall off, because you'll be out of there quick. And you should probably come out and apologize. Put out a statement. Get a PR team. Squash the beef with La Rosa Negra, for one. And Big Swole said that maybe there were some various reports that said that may have already happened. If not, do it for sure. And I don't know. You better hope she forgives you, because that's and then your reputation that's around the business is fucking muck right now, and it's real rough. Like that that peanut butter that that. You ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. But yeah, it's real rough.
Yeah, just
we almost got canceled just now.
Yeah. I was gonna have to spend hours editing. I would just like to give a circle back before we move off the Tessa thing, to give a special fuck you to Moose. Like it's really disheartening to see this black dude. He didn't even like try to sidestep or deny on Tessa's behalf what happened. He just tried to like downplay it so that his fucking show's main event would be okay. And it's like, what about this person that like you probably know, or people that know in this industry, that like life has been a living hell because she's dealing not only with the same racist bullshit that you deal with in the industry, but also as a woman. You're a fucking asshole. Go to hell.
Yep.
Marty Scurll, the early frontrunner for 2020, Jeff Jarrett, Finesse of the Year.
Yes.
This man apparently has gotten a main roster level contract while working 40 dates?
40 dates.
40 dates.
Kevin Nash will be proud. Scott Hall would shake his hand.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan would be like, "You did it, brother."
Yes.
Marty Scurll, one of the great workers of all time now.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to put him on the list.
Yes. Like who's above him is Brock, and who else?
Jeff Jarrett.
Okay, so not only did he get big money, little dates, this man also got a booking role. He is now, I guess, co-booker with Delirious.
And you know what that means, James, right?
Hold on. Nobody knows who actually has the final say-so right now. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it's like, yo, you know what this means for Marty, right? This means Marty Scurll can get paid from companies until the year 2050 because he has booking experience on the resume.
I didn't even think of that.
Bro, Marty, not just Marty joins the elite who also have this now. It's like, this is the new clique for this era.
Oh, God.
It 2 companies, booking, big money. They fucking did it. I was so happy for Marty Scurll when I read this. I was like, yo, you know what? Cool. Even if this doesn't work already for now, right? You got the contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to ride this out for however long it is. Maybe a year, maybe 2 years.
How long is the deal?
No one knows yet.
Oh, God. That can't be good.
So, you don't necessarily need to come into AEW right now if you're Marty, because it's like, there's a lot of programs going, a lot of matches still to get to. you coming in as just one more guy, and they have a 2-hour show, right? If you go ahead and with ROH, it's easy. You stay where you were, you get the big money, you get the contract, you get to be looked at as a savior, you get to be a booker, which is like you get to set up for after wrestling. Someone will always like go back to, oh, what about maybe we can bring Marty in and have him do something if it goes well. And that savior aspect cannot be overlooked, because while Matt Taven took all the bumps and the bruises for ROH for getting put in that position, Marty kind of just got to sit there like almost a tragic figure, right? And catch none of it, right? Even he was still on the shows like everyone, you know, he was still on every show, whatever. He just wasn't in the main event, didn't have the title, whatever, right? Now, he has a chance to literally save a company from the muck. like restart Ring of Honor essentially. Now, will they do it? Who knows? But let's say they got a chance to essentially like restart the narrative around Ring of Honor. Will they do it? Who knows? However, if you are able to get something like that in your contract, I have nothing but respect for you. And if they offer you a booking job to keep you along with, you know, that much money and those dates because they're desperate not to lose you, this is all-time great work. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah, I don't have much to say on it. Like, are we going to give Ring of Honor a shot with pay-per-views at least this year?
I don't know. I would have to see the cards.
I'm gonna give him a shot. I'm probably making a mistake, but I'm gonna give him their next pay-per-view. I'm gonna give him a shot now, or another shot, because I gave him shots last year and they fucked it all up. But yeah, I don't think it's. I think this is the best move Marty could have made, like for him, and then he can always come in. Those dudes can always tell the stories, like, you know, away from TV to keep whatever going. If he goes to AEW, you can always, of course, his significant others in WWE, he can always end up there. But yeah, big for him, and he becomes a power broker, and the dude owns Villain Enterprises. Like he's like zigging when a lot of people think he's gonna zag. It's like, yo, come in and be like the 7th member of the Elite. I can stay here and get all these narratives working for me. Yeah,
like,
and also like he I mean, at the end of the day, he took the best deal. So it's like, you know, like all that stuff is cool or whatever else, as far as, you know, doing the doing Dynamite and AEW. But I mean,
we've seen friends in the wrestling business divide and split up for years and years, and this is no different than that.
Right, and I think it's very, very funny that like it turns out that Marty Scurll is like the only person from that British scene that wasn't a mark. Moving on.
You can say Will too. You can say Will.
Yet. We'll see. We'll see is like he still has a piece of paper that Heyman gave him in a night drawer somewhere.
Damn.
Anyway, yeah, so next we have Triple H making a dumb joke on Paige's behalf. He was doing an interview, I think, because, you know, he was over in the UK, so I think it's Inside the Ropes, or actually it may have been just a whole media scrum, and he was, and the conversations originally is about like people potentially being cleared or being done and then like getting cleared in the future, like Daniel Bryan. And he starts talking about Daniel Bryan and talking about how like if you work hard or whatever else and things change, we will look at it, and if that's the case, we will bring you back. Now, Rich is making a face at me that makes me believe that like he's still very upset, feeling that WWE had sidelined Daniel Bryan for multiple years, so Roman Reigns can fuck off in triple or WrestleMania main events. But if you want to add in on that, or
that was it, you know, okay. and I maintain it wasn't hard work that got Dan Bryan cleared. It was him wanting to fucking leave because he was the same fucking guy at the end of 2000. You guys have heard the rant before.
Yeah. So trying to think what happened from there. Yeah, so then he's talking about that, and he's talking about people like that. People, I guess he hears a lot about like Edge because of the rumors of Edge possibly getting cleared and going to see Joseph Maroon, the dude that's famously a disgraced doctor in the Concussion movie.
Expect me to believe this guy? Okay.
Yeah, so then he also mentions Paige. So while that's all happening, he talks about how, you know, there's more to life than just wrestling. You know, Adam is a family guy. You know, Paige, and then he makes a line, or he says, no, Edge said, or he says that Edge has kids, and Paige may have some kids running around that she doesn't know about. And then the crowd, and then the I guess the court that he's I can't, what's the word? Basically, the audience that he's attending to laughs in the background, and the video cuts out from there. People are really mad at this, or a few people are really mad at this. Rich, what are your thoughts, or what you've seen online?
When I first saw it, I'm like, oh man, I wouldn't have said that. Triple H, like, alluding to, like, just think about a work environment, and it's like alluding to a woman's sexual history, which it can be taken that way. I don't think there's any disputing that. Like, it can be taken that way. Usually is a big no-no. Just when looking at it, and a lot of I've seen a lot of people talking, like, you know, a lot of people were upset. Paige is upset. Renee Young was upset about this. And it's like, well, if there's anyone that would probably make sexually suggestive jokes, like, it's not out of Triple H, it's not out of character for Triple H, like, you know, knowing the leader of fucking DX, yes. And it's like, it's very uncomfortable. If I was Paige, I would be very uncomfortable on all the stuff that you had come out about you and everything like that. It's just like, why did you have to do that? I would hope Triple H apologize to her sincerely, and, you know, when that goes out like that, it's just like, Triple H is so big, he has to be careful what he says. And it's like, while it can be looked at as harmless on one side, there's a whole nother side to it where it's like, yo, this is like, could be looked at as sexual harassment, it could be looked at as a lot of different stuff. And I think this is just, it's nothing that he made a judgment call in doing. It just kind of like happened. So it was like, he can't take it back. So he needs to try to fix it. For you know, the sake of his position, like at his job, like, you know, being the next Vince or whatever. Like, you're gonna need to have the confidence of all those people.
Yeah, this slipped under my intent. I watched the video earlier, moved on my day. Then before we started this, you told me that, like, people were upset women called it sexist, and I was like, wait, what? So now I go back and listen to it again, and I'm still like, wait, what? And look, it ain't for me to decide what is sexist or what is not sexist. It's for me to learn from it and move on. So that's my take on it. Like my initial thoughts is just like you said, like, maybe don't make any sex jokes about any of your coworkers in any way, shape, or form, regardless of how tongue-in-cheek it was or was not. And then there's also the context of it being Paige specifically, which is like, I mean, I thought the joke was the fact that, like, a woman would know if she had kids because a pregnancy was taken to term. That's the joke. But there's also the fact that this is, a lot of people consider this slut shaming. A lot of people also, you throw in her history when, you know, that of her, you know, having porn exposed on the internet and getting leaked. So all bad. Just don't make, like, you know, allusions to the sex lives of your employees. Yeah. And then I think you'll be able to avoid stuff like that before we get into, like, the more granular parts of this.
Yeah. So, like, you know, something that may seem harmless is just like, you know, I'll tell a personal story. They tried to. I remember a job I worked one time, And I want to say this is like, let's see, what is it, 2020? So this might have been like 2000. Like, they tried to get me out of the paint for 12. So they tried to get me out of the paint for That's What She Said jokes before.
Oh,
and
God.
then it was like, nah. Like, so like anything like can be looked at as like uncomfortable or whatever. And I had to learn from that and be like, you know, I know that I didn't, you know, intend to be inappropriate or anything like that. It's just like how someone else may get it.
Right. It's not about intent. It's about like how other people take it in. So yeah.
So aside from that, what's next on the list, sir?
AEW has a new person on the way potentially.
Yeah. Brian Cage. Big favorite of the Doc Chad Matthews. What's up, Chad? I read your email. I will be responding to you whenever I get a chance here. But shout out to Chad. One of his favorites, Brian Cage. I always have liked Brian Cage from the first time I saw him at, I believe it was a Rev Pro show in 2017
in Orlando. Yep,
he
was tagging with Elgin.
Yep, just like a perfect tag team if there ever was one. Like big dudes that do power moves and flips. Brian Cage, RLPW certified, a big motherfucker, like a really big motherfucker. I like the signing, unique, bring something different to the game. Him and Kenny had a picture on Twitter the end of last year talking about, y'all want to see this match? Everyone, of course, said yes. I think that would be fucking awesome. I haven't seen a ton of Brian Cage's work, but everything I've seen, like, his moveset is amazing, and you know, hopefully he can talk. I don't really know too much about his promo ability and everything, but you know,
we would ask Caleb about him, but you know, he might, you know, cry or something or get upset.
Yeah,
or be like, hey, that fucker's dead to me. Fuck him.
Yeah.
He left for more money.
He left us.
And
us.
Us. It's funny, like he's like the TNA guy or Impact guy, and he like barely watches it anymore either. On the tuck. It's outstanding.
Yeah. So, what did you think when you saw this come across, man?
I thought it's cool. I also think that like I feel like they're trying to push too many people at once at the same time. Like, I think it's noble of them to try to push almost everybody as some type of star or something important, but like sometimes we just need people to come out here and get whooped or to not get much time. So I don't know. Like, I'm just wondering when he's going to turn. Is he going to be the Exalted one now that like Marty's probably not going to be it?
That's funny.
Like, how would that tie in? How would they make that one work?
Brian Cage, Jesus Christ! I have like, I don't know. I can't even come up with a joke. It's like I would say like they're gonna have like a 3X bodysuit for this man for all the muscles, and then the mask. Like you just see him, you know, unmasked. Like, oh, Brian Cage is in the Dark Order. No. Another big signing in the wrestling world. Mercedes Martinez allegedly is signing with NXT, and long overdue. Should have been getting paid by somebody somewhere a long time ago.
Right. I mean, look, she was in the first Man Classic and the second Man Classic. She's someone that much like Mia Yim. When she got signed on her second go round, she got signed on her first go round, just like Mia Yim should have been. I don't know what's the problem with, like, you know, you're already hoarding all the good wrestlers. Why not hoard another good wrestler? I don't get it. Never made sense to me. She's in WWE. The people think that she might, transition to a coach role. Fine by me, because her matches all make sense, and she tries really hard. And that's all I really want in my wrestling. I want your matches to make sense storyline wise, and I want you to try hard. That's it.
What do you make of the thing around it that's like the narratives come out like AEW like blew it when it came to Mercedes Martinez?
I I would say that I don't think they put her out at 21 as the big face Joker in their women's casino battle royal thing if they weren't intending on signing her. So whatever happened is whatever happened.
Right, because I'm like, my take on it is like, well, look at what the women's division, like, look at like all the people they brought in recently. Like, you got your Shannas, you got your Statlander, Big Swole. Like, you know, if you were getting some, like, you know, if you were starting to fill up like that, right? You put your offer out to Mercedes Martinez. She obviously took something from WWE that you don't have, like, which is like that coaching position. Is like, I mean, this isn't a draft. Like, it's like, you know, the wrestlers have a choice here. Right. So, like, you know, I can't really get upset with them because it's like, I mean, for me right now, it feels like the women's division is like a found money division in AEW right now.
It's
like
polite.
Like, if they add something, great. But I don't see it as a huge loss, like, for Mercedes Martinez, because it's not like she's going to stick it to you on the other side, because there's so much competition for her in WWE. So, like, it's like, if you passed on Lamar Jackson, or you passed on if you're the Bears,
if
right?
You're the Bears and you took Trubisky over over Mahomes or over Deshaun
or Watson, and then you got to watch a motherfucker going to the AFC Championship or whatever, right? Immediate, and like you can literally chart someone coming back and fucking you and biting you. Like I don't think that's the case here. Yeah, I don't think that's the case here for Mercedes Martinez. So that's where I'm like,
I think for me is, clearly their intention was to sign her. So it didn't happen. So you have to be let down at some point. Now, as far as saying, like, but is that going to make or break AEW? No, I don't believe so. But the thing for me is they pull out someone like a Shanna. They pull out someone that a few of their fans know in Jamie Hayter, well, who's not actually signed yet, but, you know, come do spot duty. And people know her a little bit because of, like, the Jimmy Havoc thing in the Stardom tour last year. Or most of the whole year. She did 2 tours. But the thing is, like, they desperately need more women that the crowd knows and will pop for. And, like, either you have to either get your wrestlers in the ring to either wrestle or cut promos in that ring, or with Ross or with a camera or something, and get it done to get these people to give these people a reason to care about these women. And they've only really been able to do that with Brandy, who's a manager for a heel faction, Riho, Statlander, and Sheeta. Like, I think in time, I think Nyla too. That'd be unfair not to mention Nyla. But like, that's really it. Like, so she could have came in and been an immediate player. Like Emi Sakura. Like, I believe that, like, people know her because of the Full Gear match and some of the other stuff she's had, but, like, she's not a full-timer like that, right? She's going to be coming in and out. I mean, she's on the full page. I think she's on the roster page or whatever else, but, like, you know, she has her own promotion to take care of or whatever else. She's going to be coming back and forth, just like Rio's coming back and forth from Japan, and also, like, Sheeta's going back and forth with Japan to do the actress stuff. So, like, all the noble faces that people can immediately attach to, the better. So for me, I'm like, yeah, it's a loss. Is it the end of the world? No.
Yeah. But, yeah, good for Mercedes Martinez. Get the bag. You deserved it a long time ago.
Yep.
And thank you, AEW, for existing, for allowing people to, you know, use them as leverage or whatever it took to get her, you know, for WWE to be like, all right, we're going to finally get her.
Right.
I'm happy for her, and because she's a really nice lady and she's a hell of a wrestler. So, and we get that fucking reggaeton WWE theme song, you know. Dun, 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 dun. Yep. So I get to listen to that.
God.
So you already know. I couldn't talk about Mercedes Martinez and not talk about the music. Gotta talk about the music.
Well, speaking of AEW, there was, in your estimation, a half hour of Dynamite last week that absolutely sucked.
Yes.
Okay, so what? In short detail, what does this half hour cover? So I know you're talking about this women's title match. What else covers this?
Yes. So they have the women's title match, the end of the women's title match. Jesus. The fucking like the Brandy being on commentary. You have the Sammy Guevara and Christopher Daniels. And then Pentagon coming out and the Dark Order coming out immediately. It's like, yo, you're sticking the Dark Order and the Nightmare Collective together like a sandwich. Like, yeah, this is a Big Mac, and on the upper part of the bun, you got the Dark Order, and the lower part, you got the Nightmare Collective. But we gonna feed them to you together. That's what it seems like here. So it was about 8:30 to 9 o'clock. I thought this show sunk to levels I've never seen this show sink to. And I was like, this is not good. This is not what I want to watch. This is WWE. This is like, why the fuck are y'all doing this? Don't go down this direction. They are in the midst of trying to establish this stuff, but like, it's been so long. It's like, all we wanted was Rio versus Chris Statlander with a clean finish. You have Brandy on commentary, burying everything and everyone, sounding very unnatural. You have all the interference in the match. You have them having a good match in between all that stuff.
They're in the middle of having a really good match. Or they were headed towards having a really good match.
And it was like, come on, man. And this was, it was just very disappointing. And then the Rio gets the accidental victory, and it's like, great. And people are being really mean to Rio online right now, talking about you're never around and you're in Japan and come back and lose a title and fuck off and everything like that. And it's just, yo, like,
why, so you can put the belt on who?
Statlander.
Oh boy. Okay.
So the the Nightmare Collective thing, I've come on here and I've said I will allow Brandy to show us whatever she's trying to show us. Well, I'm not seeing it, Brandy. It's like, it's nothing I want anything to do with. And I believe I said I would love to see the Nightmare Collective walk to Alaska after this segment. Because for me, it's not really needed. And it sucks for Brandy because it's like, I've talked about it before. It's like no one wants her to do anything. Like they just want her to sit there and look pretty in the dress and be next to Cody or do that or do less than that even. And then it's like, you're not really that good of a wrestler. You can talk, but you're playing this heel character that makes no sense, that just comes out of nowhere. There's so much stuff that as long as you've been setting this up, that has not been laid out. And then right. Dr. Luther comes out.
That's the one that
Japanese deathmatch legend, whatever the fuck that means, comes out and gets involved.
Why don't he take his ass?
Why is this motherfucker here? And then it's like, oh, this is another nepotism thing. This is Chris Jericho's homeboy. This is Chris Jericho's best man at his wedding or whatever. So it's like, well, the fuck? Like, and then I'm like, well, yeah, and then I hear Austin Gunn get signed. It's like, who the fuck was checking for Austin Gunn anywhere? Billy Gunn's son, everyone that doesn't know. And it's like,
huh? Billy Gunn's son.
Yeah. It's like, huh? And then it's like, I know you're trying to sign Chris Bay right now. Like, him and Cody might as well just start fucking each other on Twitter. They're liking each other's posts and all this other stuff. And he's in the AEW. Sign Chris Bay. Do something with him. Like, break the stigma that's starting to like emerge, because what's happening is we're starting to put you under a microscope and hold your stuff up. And it's like, yo, this, and this is not lining up with the vision. And I understand the way wrestling is. When someone tells you something, you're like, oh, yeah, all right, now let's see what's really going to happen. We're seeing what's really happening right now. And there are signs here that are like, yo, it's nepotism ridden. It is, there's a reluctance from even media.
You said a reluctancy?
Yes, there's a reluctancy to cover this stuff and call it what it is, like from Dave. Like, I don't know how you watch this match and you'd be like, Statlander's the problem. I don't understand that.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and then rather than saying, yeah, this Nightmare Collective shit's a miss or whatever, completely, it's an air ball right now.
Yeah,
at this
like
stage.
he's been like Meltzer's been all over the place with like being like wrong and over positive and wrong and like negative with AEW's women's division. Like when he gave the Emi Sakura and Riho match from Full Gear 4 stars, I'm like, no, bro, like no. That is not no 4-star fucking match. I've seen Riho have like 5 better matches than Stardom. I'm gonna give none of the matches 4 stars. So I give one of her matches 4 stars, but like. No,
and really the Dark Order angle continued with that, like the Sammy G thing, like they do back-to-back like distraction finishes, and it's like, what happened to beating someone clean?
Right.
What happened to, I know you want to do your Daniels and Pentagon thing, and
nobody wants that.
It's like, yo, it's like we're building. We gave Sammy G like another distraction when you can't have him look like impressive. It's like you're having him wrestle all these old guys, and it's like, this guy doesn't need to learn how to work. Like, he's a great fucking wrestler. Like, let him tear it up and then go in there with Moxley. To me, this didn't really help him. Daniels actually kind of looked decent in the match. Like, he didn't like he's playing like he's washed up. He's not actually washed up. But this half hour just was a complete, like, that's not where AEW needs to go. This half hour is just like, it was dreadful. And luckily, the show got back on track when, the Rose Brothers fought the Lucha Brothers, and after that, and then the main event angle kind of worked out. But I think this is one of the weakest shows that they've done, that they put together. I originally called it like a wacky Memphis show, where they did wacky Memphis stuff on it. But it was like, yo, who's going to tell them about a Nightmare Collective? Because it's like, I've laid all this stuff out for Brandy.
So
I put everything out there that it could be for Brandy. My bad, Jeff. But that it could be for Brandy. It's like, we know what she's fighting against, but she just has to produce, and she's not producing.
Yeah, and it's a thing that she, like, it don't matter who you put behind it. Like, end of the day, it's Awesome Kong at age whatever, who hasn't wrestled regularly in who knows how many years. Like, no, it doesn't. At the end of the day, unless they come up with one of the best smoke and mirror shows, and even when they have Cody, his smoke and mirror shows ain't the best either. It's not gonna work. So what we're setting up for is Statlander gets pulled away from the title to go face those fuckers. So I'm gonna say those people, but I was like, well, that's racist. It was like, but I'm black. Anyway, so then from there, like, that's one problem. 2 is like, okay, so what's next for the champion? And if you tell me Britt Baker again after Britt Baker does nothing but fucking lose on TV, but it so manages to have like a 7-4 record, even like Autumn was what's been on, like, I don't remember her winning since since Full Gear. I don't remember her winning since Full Gear.
I have to look.
All those shits had to be on Dark. And if you tell me that, if you want to tell me that, well, Dark is this important, this and third, you're gonna have to kill me. You have to do more than tell me about Dark 2 times 1 week, and like never, like almost never. Like, I feel like they talk about Dark once every 3 weeks. So if you want to talk about why Britt Baker deserves to go at Riho again, you need to hit Dark a lot harder.
Like she's clearly turning. So like,
right,
she's trying to do process of elimination now.
Right,
and it's like, well, it seems like she's going to get another shot.
Right. So there's also that. And the main thing for me is, do not, I repeat, do not, future promotions, do not. I'm going to say it again. Do not make your tag team match about the fill in the blank of a man. Don't do it. Do not have James Ellsworth drop down a fucking briefcase to Carmella. Do not have, in the middle of a title match, a motherfucker come from underneath as their debut for the match. Don't. Find another match to do it on, or don't do it all. Don't do it. Especially when you marginalize their time on air anyway in the promotion. Don't do it.
This was the lowest of the low.
And they ruined the fucking match in the middle of a good match in the middle of that. And so so from Wrestle Kingdom, those 2 weeks with Jay White's bullshit, those 2 days with Jay White's bullshit, then to get to Wednesday and they did this, I was furious. I was like, fuck off. This is bullshit. Like, just have a fucking match. Why does it always have to be bullshit or whatever else? Like, just beat somebody. That's all I want to watch. Somebody goes in the ring and you beat them, and it's not the end of the world because it's a competitive sport and people lose.
Yep.
AEW seemed to have known this for the first, was this week 14?
I've lost count.
I think it's week 14. They have known this for the first 13 weeks. They don't know it on 14?
Yeah. Very disappointing. Just bad. Just a bad block of TV. And it's like,
They can make Cody not be champion ever again, but they can't beat Chris Statlander. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Bad news. And yeah, I'm not a fan. I was like going to be very negative on this on the show, and I don't want to be. It's like I think like AEW is in a place where the highs are so high, it just makes the lows seem that much lower. Like ultimately, the Nightmare Collective is a lower card. Like it's never going to be higher than anything than fifth from the top.
But it's also
right
right. But it's also in the context of the Butcher, Bunny, and Blade, and also Dark Order, and it's like none of them three acts are popping right now in the way that maybe they think they could. And I think like the Dark Order is trending up ever since they started doing the showing you the cult stuff more. But I still have the taste of that end of the year match where they laid out all the stars, and I'm just like, that's not what I want to watch, because like this is a mid card act beating all the dudes that are drawing on top. Fuck out of my face. So yeah I just
like there's only so mad I can get about it because it's so low. But don't let this shit creep any higher.
Yeah, like too much sports. And also, it's like, I'm fine where it's at if it was taking up less time. Actually, I take that back. You're right. I also want it taking up less time. I'm tired of seeing them come out almost every single week and just like get to the point. Like this shit happened. Like Brandy laid out Jamie Hayter in Pittsburgh. That was 11 weeks ago. We don't know what the fuck they want. We don't know why they even came together. What caused all this big gigantic turn out of Brandy? Nothing.
Like she got that one promo where she was like, "We do the stuff that no one else wants to do," but I don't know what that means. Like
exactly, it's a mystery. I was saying it to Floyd when Floyd was like feeling like I was ODing on it. I was like, it's mystery box bullshit. It's the same shit that Vince does or did with Bray Wyatt or any other spooky character. We have an idea of doing something that looks cool, but we don't know exactly what to do with it, so we'll keep it vague to keep you interested, and then eventually people will be like, well, all right, well, where's Sister Abigail? How come Liv Morgan's Sister Abigail? How come Paige is Sister Abigail? How come any white woman isn't Sister Abigail? I don't want this shit. Fuck off. Either get to the point or step off. It's been 11 weeks. That is more than enough time for you to tell me what you want to do. In 10 weeks, it took Becky Lynch from being a mid-card to the biggest star in the company. 10 weeks is plenty of time to do something. You had 11. Get to it.
Yeah. It's, there was something else I want to say, but I can't remember. But, Yeah, it's just not good. Like, it's just not good, flat out. And, yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say, but...
yeah, that is pretty much the end of the show. Stardom talk.
Yeah, Stardom talk. So you know what that means, James. You got to load it up?
Yeah, I got it loaded up.
So you know what it is? It's time to hit the music.
Okay, so last we left off, that dirty, rotten, sorry scoundrel Saki Kashima turned heel on the Icon, Mayu Iwatani. Yeah, so those were the two matches that were up at the time when we were talking about. Like the rest of the show has filled out. I'm not going to go through the card because like not matches are just okay, but a couple things I wanted to talk about as far as storyline progression. Tam just, on one of the shows, like, Tam just unilaterally just says, yep, Big Saya, you're in Stars. Just adds it right in. And to keep in mind, this is...
Lil Saya. Where Lil Saya at?
She's already in Stars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we keep Team 38 together,
Yes, I guess we're keeping the Infinity Team together, yes. So. Team Jobber. So...
Team Lil Saya, Big Saya.
So then from there, keep in mind, like, that happened the day before Saki turned heel, so it was like, oh. In retrospect now, it's like, oh.
It was a setup.
You've been replaced.
We shuffling.
Yes. So, the next day, Natsuko actually adds Dust to Oreotai. So, like, now their roster looks a lot better. So, I mean, is she their best worker? Let's see. Yep, she's their best wrestler.
I haven't seen Dust aside from in New York. She was fine there.
I've seen enough to believe that she's better than Natsuko Tora, Natsu Sumire, Saki Kashima, and Jamie. I'm sorry, Jamie. So she's the second best worker.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So.
Don't be a lover, be a hater.
Yeah, so the match I had asked, you had looked at. So that was from the
fourth
KFC. Yeah, the fourth. It was some stadium that's like normally not stadium, but arena or venue that Tokyo Joshi Pro runs from time to time. It felt like they ran it because it's closer to Tokyo Dome, and then like you find out that some Stardom wrestlers are going to be in a Tokyo Dome pre-show dark match. It's like, this wasn't just for the fans, it was also for them. We gotta haul ass to get to the dome. So anyway, the match we're talking about is Jungle Kiona, Konami, and Layla Hirsch versus B, Jamie, and Zoe Sky Dust. What do you think about the match?
Thought it was a good match. Jungle did a lot of selling. They beat her ass for a long time. Layla Hirsch got in, and she looked like she was just like a low center of gravity out of the Chad Gable school, like of throwing suplexes and being athletic. And she was like really kind of fun to see. It was hilarious. B got 6 times as many streamers as she normally gets, which is she got a grand total of 6. Jamie may have got 1, maybe. And then they bring in Dust. So, I mean, I thought it was cool. Konami was awesome when she got in. So very fast in all her movements and impressive with her strikes. I thought, this made me want to see a tag match with them that's going to be happening, ironically, at the Corkin show.
Amazing how that works, right?
Yeah, it made me actually want to see it. Like, so, but I think the big story here, like, I don't know why this was like they just want to protect all the champions, but they did the finish with Layla Hirsch getting the pin on Dust.
No, but did you see how she got the pin?
Yes, she ran up the ropes and then did like a moonsault back, I believe.
Yeah, like she did like a I don't know, like the best way to explain is like, you know how
she did like 3 things in a match. She did those suplexes and then she did the finish.
Right. Like basically, how do I explain this? Like, you know how Ibushi does the golden triangle flip out to the floor? She basically did like a version of, or a triple jump version of that on the ropes, except going back to hitting the moonsault on the inside of the ring. It's like, what the? And it was just weird. It's like, I've never seen someone. I wasn't expecting her to do that. I just was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And she could get the win. That was cool. The thing that was cool for me was the story of all this is they're setting up to where it's like the heat is Jamie or Jungle versus Jamie and Konami versus B. And it seems like, I mean, I looked through this, like, Konami's never beaten B, Jungle's never beaten Jamie in a singles match. And if you also go back to the Grand Prix this year, Jungle got hurt when Jungle already had a jacked up shoulder and was heavily taped up. And then Jamie ended up hitting her with like a crazy ass, like a choke slam looking thing, and her shoulder popped out the socket. So like they're also playing on that with the shoulder and her doing all that selling. So like I can't wait to see this match. Like they had a match in Tag League. It was really good too. It was one of the better matches in Tag League. One of the few ones that I would say I would recommend to people to watch. But I feel like they're gonna have an even better one now. Like they're Konami and B together, like. and then their time in a tag match, like it was very, very damn good.
And after the match, it was funny. Jungle did her promo in Japanese, and then she swapped it to English and was like, "You are going to die." Like she made sure she understood.
Yes. Yeah, like they've been okay. So the day before, like they did January 2nd, 3rd, and 4th shows. This was January 4th, but the day before, they had another match with a 6-person tag where they ended up on opposite ends, and they were going at it too. Like they've been pushing heavy on this match as far as how much they dislike each other. Like in fact, they did the press conference I think this morning or whatever, or yesterday their time, and like. They're starting to shoot like I don't want to say hot shotty, but like they're starting to actually push like personal animosity in like their matchups in Korakuen. And it really started probably when Tag League started jumping off, when you had like Starlight Kid slapping Jungle. But I've been noticing like it's been picking up, and then like you had the Julia and Hannah stuff and how personal that got, or them like beating the hell out of each other. And then like Arisa and Utami, they're starting to get physical. Like they slapped each other. They had a slap contest in the press conference today too.
You know what that makes me think of?
What?
You remember Slapfest?
Oh God.
So if y'all never heard of Slapfest, go on YouTube, type in Hot 97 Slapfest. So they used to bring 2 people up to the radio station, stand them right in front of each other, and they'd be like, yeah, you can only swing a certain amount of distance. And the goal was to slap the other person, essentially, back and forth, like who would stand up and who will win, who would do the most damage, who would not want to continue. Every so often, you would get someone that would cop back a little too hard, or like cup their hand, or hit somebody in the neck. And then they do all these warnings. So I find it amazing that Slapfest is transcending culture and jumped over to Stardom.
Yeah, I'm
unbelievable.
I'm sure they were watching or listening to Hot 97. I'm sure he was keeping it locked.
Look, in the middle of 2000s, yes, right. Richard Lachika was tuned in, listening to Slapfest.
When she's like, what, 13 or some shit like
Correct.
that?
Satellite.
Okay. Satellite. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, that's really all I got You got anything else you want to say though before we get off the show?
Oh man, go run my numbers up. Just dropped a new song called "Save Me." I'm just gonna shamelessly plug it every show, every week. Probably have a new song. Been working hard on them and put them out. So make sure y'all check that out. Try not to be racist, so we don't have to come talk about you. There was a very funny Gabe Sapolsky and David Starr interaction that was on Twitter today, where Gabe Sapolsky caught himself trying to expose David Starr, but David ultimately making David Starr's point that you don't pay anybody. So you should probably do
that. Not he doesn't pay anybody. He doesn't pay everybody.
Everyone. Correct.
Which is still a problem.
Correct. And then, it brings up the conversation of paying dues, which is bullshit. Just pay. We know you're being bankrolled by WWE. Use some of that money. There's a lot of stuff. And then David Starr got into it. Check it out. I think he's since deleted it, but you can find it somewhere if you look hard enough. So that trying to think.
Yeah.
Anything else? No. So, I guess we can roll.
Yeah, that's the end of the show. Rate us on the app you're using to listen to this. Tell people about the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Check out our friends at powerslam.tv. They're the sponsor of this show. You can use the code Social Suplex to get your free month trial of powerslam.tv. Also, check us out on Pro Wrestling Tees at prowrestlingtees.com/Social Suplex. Pick up some official Social Suplex Podcast Network merchandise. And be sure to check out the other shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. On Sundays, we normally have the show, One Nation Radio. On Tuesdays, we have Keepin It Strong Style. On Wednesdays, we have the Ricky Clive Wrestling Podcast. And on every other Wednesday, we have Grumman Watches Shit. On Thursdays, we have Get in the Ring. And on Saturdays, we have All Things Elite. Thanks for listening.
Hey, make sure y'all, if you feel so compelled, hit up that donation link that's on the show on Red Circle. If you click on One Nation Radio, right underneath it, go ahead and check it out.
That's it, y'all. Later.
Peace.